As we get closer to Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, now just being one day away, we're also closer to the fact that Nintendo is about to reveal some games to us, because it's going to leave nothing but Luigi's Mansion 2 left for the month of June, and nothing else slated for the future of this year. And of course, Nintendo came out and announced that June is going to have a Nintendo Direct. And of course, we've been trying to speculate what this could be, knowing that it's probably not going to be anything super massive, mostly ports, remakes, and remasters, and maybe a couple of new smaller titles sprinkled in, like some spin-offs. And of course, when we think of spin-offs, I think of Mario spin-offs, which then leads me to, of course, Mario Party and the Mario sports games. And today, I want to talk about the sports games and some stuff that I really would love to see them do. I feel like with every console, we get the same sports over and over again. It's always tennis, we always get golf. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a huge golf fan, and I golf myself pretty much every single weekend, and I've been playing golf since I was a little kid, not to mention I absolutely love golf video games. So, yeah, I'm all for golf, but even now, I'm like, oh gosh, give us another sport. Yes, I love my Mario Golf, but it's time to move on to something new and something different, or at least revisit something new, or something that really hasn't gotten touched in multiple years. For instance, we finally got a new Mario Strikers game. Even though it sucked, we got a new one. That's just the thing that worries me for this upcoming Nintendo Direct. It's along the lines of, I'm worried if they're going to ruin another Mario sports game, because if you ask pretty much any Mario sports fan, they'll tell you that these three on the Nintendo Switch, being Mario Tennis Aces, Mario Golf Super Rush, and of course Mario Strikers Battle League, are all very mediocre sports games, where they had tons of content missing at launch, so that they just dropped it as quote-unquote free, cool, brand new updates when it was just adding the original content that should have been implemented from day one. So yes, all these games I felt were lazily slapped together for us fans, and I'm hoping that whatever this next Mario sports game, if there is still one more coming to current Nintendo Switch before moving on to the next console, I hope it's not just, oh, let's half-bake another sports game. And I actually want to say, I don't think that's going to be the case. Nintendo has recently gone back and proven that they do listen to fans by remaking what made Paper Mario so good by going back to the Thousand Year Door, and also bringing back Mario RPG, the first one. Even after Super Mario Party, they did decide to go back to their roots with Mario Party Superstars, even though we never did get any updates or extra things added to that game, and it still was very bare bones for a lot of people because it needed more maps, but it was still going down the right path. So maybe Nintendo's gonna finally learn, especially since we're at the end of the current Switch lifecycle. We really don't have time for continuous updates for the new sports game unless they, launch it this summer and then they do updates throughout the end of this year, because if the new Switch is coming at the beginning of next year, yeah, they don't really have time to be doing that. So we're just gonna have to wait and see, but hopefully this new sport is actually something that's worthwhile for once. Now with tennis, soccer, and golf out of the way, what's this next sport? Well, naturally, based on even the rumors that we've been hearing, it sounded like it was going to be another Mario Baseball, and this just makes the most sense. We had two Striker games, and they brought it back for the third one on Switch, and then the same thing with Mario Baseball. There's been one on the GameCube, one on the Wii, now it's time to have one on the Nintendo Switch. Mario Baseball just makes the most sense to me, because, in my opinion, it's one of the best sports in the entire series, and it's not just because I grew up, once again, playing baseball, because, let me just tell you now, I grew up playing baseball, basketball, and golf, so of course I love those sports naturally, but baseball was just so different because it just felt like the rosters were always so massive. You had so many characters. I mean, look at Super Slugger's roster. It was just huge, from characters from the Mario series, Donkey Kong. I would just love to see how much they could expand on it with a new version, with even new characters like Cappy, and maybe just characters and NPCs from Mario Odyssey and Mario 3D World, and oh, it would be so great. Even have the Koopalings in there. I could just really imagine how good it would be, but I can also picture how Nintendo could absolutely ruin it and do something very basic, like, oh, every single time your catcher is Boom Boom, and the whole field is full of Toads or Goombas, and, I please don't do that. Please have tons of characters so that way we can fill the entire field and batting lineup with whoever we want. Oh, it would be so good. It just seems like a really good idea for like a July game. I can see Nintendo coming out and just saying, hey, this game's coming in the next 1 or 2 months. That would be awesome. So yeah, hopefully there is a Mario baseball game coming, at least eventually. I know there were rumors, but who knows where it's at? Who knows if it's even real? We're just gonna have to wait and see. Another one that I would argue is extremely due is Mario Basketball. We actually only have one original Mario Basketball game, and that's Mario Hoops 3-on-3 on the DS. It's crazy that the only Mario basketball game we got was a DS game. So I really hope that they can bring this back. And we've seen it can actually work on a console, because in Mario Sports Mix on the Wii, we also got basketball, which was actually pretty good. I had a lot of fun playing this game, and it was actually pretty fleshed out for a game that included 4 total sports. So I actually would love to see a full-fledged basketball game this time around, just really from the ground up with side modes, maybe like a little Mario career mode or something like that. Yeah, make it happen, Nintendo. I mean, it just makes sense. Now, these sports mix games also include sports that we never had individual games for. For instance, we had a dodgeball game in Mario Sports Mix, which actually was really well done as well, and I could see this fully fleshed out in like a Strikers style, where you're just absolutely beaming people and knocking them over and stuff, or tackling them. Yeah, that would be awesome. I think even a Strikers style of hockey game would be really cool. Imagine them just running around, just beating each other up. I mean, you kind of already do this in Sports Mix by just kind of like tackling each other a little bit, but yeah, in the Strikers style with it being all gritty and stuff would be awesome. I think that would work well as well. Shoot, yes, let's use the Striker style again, even for volleyball, because apparently it was going to happen. There was apparently plans for a game that was canceled called, I think, Mario Spikers or something along those lines, where like it was a Mario Strikers version of volleyball. I really don't know how this ever got canceled, but I'm personally not a huge fan of volleyball games, like even with like Switch Sports or, you know, even the Mario Sports Mix. I'm just not a big fan of that game style, and I feel like fleshing that into a full game might be a little hard because it's a very slow-paced style of sport. Who knows? Maybe they could find a way to make it a lot of fun. We'd just have to wait and see if that ever happens. We even had horse racing in Mario Sports Superstars, which is interesting to say the least. I definitely don't want to see a full game of this personally. I just didn't think it was that much fun. But who knows? Maybe Nintendo will surprise us and find a way to make it cool or something. I don't know. I thought it was lame. I will be honest with you. After over 30 years of Mario games, and in the year of 2024, I never would have imagined that we still would not have a Mario American football game. How has this not happened? American football is one of the biggest sports ever. Like, it is celebrated by so many people. The Super Bowl, for crying out loud, is one of the biggest sporting events ever. How in the world have we still not gotten a Mario football? Maybe they just haven't found out a way to make it fun in the Mario sense. Maybe it's too much like Madden, where it's just they feel like a lot of people won't have fun with it or something. I don't know. Because at least for Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, we got rugby. So, I mean, that's the closest we've ever gotten. So, I mean, that's very close. They're tackling each other. And it can't be because of tackling or, you know, injuring each other. Because Strikers is way more violent than anything that they probably do in football. At least they're wearing, you know, a lot of pads in football. I guess they kind of are in Strikers, but you know what I mean. So, yes, I really would love to see a Mario football. In fact, the fan actually made a concept trailer for what it could look like. And I've never wanted something more in my life. Of course, I feel like there's no other team that would handle this better than like the Strikers team, because it just kind of has that vibe to it when I think of, you know, all these Mario characters playing football with each other, having helmets and, you know, jerseys and pads, oh gosh, and like little coaches on the sideline. I think it would be great. And for people saying that it might be too complex with the plays and the routes and trying to figure out who to throw it to and stuff, it can definitely be dumbed down to be in a Mario game. They could definitely find a way to Nintendo-fy a, you know, football video game. I feel like it would work out great, and Nintendo just needs to give it a shot. I mean, see if people buy it, see if people are excited for it. Oh man, I would love something like this. So it's safe to say that there's a lot of sports left that they could go with. If they still wanted to squeeze one more out on the current Nintendo Switch before moving to the next console, it's definitely possible. It's just up to Nintendo to decide what they want to do. So I'm hoping that there's some exciting stuff in the future, maybe something newer like another Mario basketball or football, something along those lines, but we're just going to have to wait and see Nintendo's choice. It's probably going to be baseball. I would love it still. I think we are more than due for another Mario baseball game. Let's just hope they don't mess it up and just like absolutely neuter the roster or something like that. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know down below what sport you would like to see the most. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.